fight commentary breakdowns here. So, one viewer, forgot your name, very persistent on sending us this clip. He sent us this clip like 8 times, I think. 3 sort of Wing Chun JKDS trapping drills. And so we want to just present them to you and potentially give some thoughts. Again, if we don't have thoughts, we'll just move on. But
I have no thoughts.
Yeah, no thoughts, exactly. Sometimes the art of no thoughts. The first trapping is, let's say we're both in kind of this stance, right? Now, what he is advocating doing is, so let's say I'm jabbing and I'm crossing, etc. Let's say maybe you're throwing a few and he's blocking, etc. So let's say he's blocking. One jab, he'll drag. So this is the trap right here. This is the trap, and then I will use this to kind of punch.
Oh, okay.
So that is kind of like the first move.
Okay.
So it's like, you know, maybe we're like going at it, and then at one point
I'll try and throw a jab.
Exactly. So maybe you throw a jab, or maybe I duck it or something, and then I take this hand and I drag it. That way, I create an opening, and so that's like the first move, basically. Yeah.
I see this a lot from like John Jones. I see this a lot from Conor McGregor. Or actually, Lyoto Machida also would do it too. What they would do is they would put that front hand out, and as long as they can prevent the jab, so this is your jab.
Yeah,
hand
exactly.
right
My jab hand.
So as long as they can prevent this from being an issue,
interesting.
As soon as you got control over this, you know that you're not going to get jabbed. Frees you up to come in.
So that is a pretty good kind of wow.
As long as you're really, if you're really concerned
about my jab,
it helps obviously if you're goofy, if we're
the stances are mirrored.
If I'm southpaw,
yeah. So you're southpaw, I'm orthodox.
Then what I could do is like, as long as I can control this jab hand, like, and it's just like this. You'll see it like over and over again.
Yes.
You could put some footage in of Conor doing this.
Yeah.
But he'll just do this so that he can come in with the power shot.
Makes sense, and because of the way we're standing, I'm not at the distance to really throw a good cross or anything, or throw a hook or something. Makes sense.
It's just this.
It's just that.
And John Jones does this too. All he does is he just controls the jab hand, and then
boom. I see.
You're taking away half the weapons.
Yeah, exactly. The second one, you go the opposite hand, and so you kind of drag it down to kind of hammer fist or chop or something. Or I mean, potentially you could drag it down and just cross.
That's the one that I use. Yeah. That's from Kaji Kimbo.
That's from Kaji Kimbo.
Hank would do this all the time.
Okay.
Like as long as you've got these down, Hank would come in. He would always come in over the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like if this is closed off, it's really hard for you to strike.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've got strikes.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about that before, where it's like if you can drag that front arm across.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, and then you can punch. That's another thing that you can see in some footage of Conor when he was fighting Max Holloway. There's a shot of him up against the cage. He's dragged the arm across, and he's just smothering him in the face.
Wow.
Yeah.
That move that he was showing me, I've seen it in Kempo, American Kempo.
Right.
It seems like a lot of the martial arts that have any kind of like trapping have that kind of move.
Right. Yeah, a lot of it's like blitzing, like which you'll do is you'll come in and it's like the first thing you want to do is get past this.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get past this and you come in like
and
that.
Then boom.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then the final move that was in that video was, so let's say again you're up here. This time you take both your hands, you kind of give them a little, and then you come in with an elbow or something. Yeah. So that was like the third move presented in that.
This is typically very dangerous, but as long as you've got this is on the inside. If this is on the inside, then you're good, and you can.
I see. Because in the video, the assumption was the guy, his opponent, was always covering up like this. So, which it's a common misconception of like boxers and stuff.
This is only if you've got big gloves. You know, if you have small MMA gloves, this is not going to do the trick.
Which when they were showing it in the video, he was using small MMA gloves and like going like this. So I feel like that's where the misconception was coming from.
Yeah, there's a Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz fight where Tito actually attempted to sort of like do this. And Liddell went
just went
right
through the middle.
Through.
Yeah.
Right down the middle right there. And like even getting hit here is not like you can still get dead arms.
Yeah, definitely.
What I love is the Lomachenko response to that. So if you bring your hands up.
So if I bring my hands.
So if you're defending.
if I'm defending
shelling
like
up like this. Yeah. What I love about Lomachenko is that he'll do. I call this the slot machine method.
The slot machine. Okay.
So what he'll do is he'll come here and he'll yank this down and hit simultaneously. So he'll go boom, pop, and he'll hit you right here. And then as this comes back up, he'll rotate over here. Boom, and hit
my
him here.
goodness.
So it goes
boom, boom.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. But in the context of the video, I think what I learned from Rob is don't go like this per se, but kind of keep your hand outwards. So like that kind of trap, so like trap it this.
You just don't want your chin exposed.
I see.
Like this is asking for
that exactly.
Here, you know what I mean?
I see.
If you're going like if you're like trapping this, like this is something that I would traditionally do in order to try and close a distance to do jiu-jitsu. I would try and bring the arms down. You know what I mean?
I see.
But I definitely don't like the farther my hands are out from my body,
the
more weaker they are.
Yeah, exactly.
And also I need to protect my chin.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I'm gonna try and bring your arms down, typically I'm keeping in tight. But I still want to trap.
See.
You know what I mean? I want to keep it down, but I still want to, I just don't want to extend my hands out completely. Because right here, it's so easy for you to come over the top of the shoulder.
Yeah.
And I think we've watched enough of these like older fights where once somebody gets hit in the head, their face, almost immediately what they would do is they would try and kind of go like this and extend the arms. Yeah. But it leaves them open for more strikes. Yeah,
exactly. You look at a lot of the Kung Fu masters challenging them MMA guys, they get hit and immediately they're like...
Then the initial response is to stretch. To stretch out like that, and it ends up leaving you exposed. Yeah,
exactly. So, another good lesson, if you get hit in the face and the immediate response is to do that, instead, try to clinch or something. Just don't go...
Yeah, I mean, if you get hit right in the face, I would say... This is pretty good. Like this is what I would deem the Yoel Romero. What do you call this response?
The pensador.
The pensador. Yeah. Like this is you got pretty good coverage here. You know what I mean? It's not great, but it's better than nothing. Like your chin's not exposed. Yeah, exactly. Right? This is okay, but like this, you're still gonna get rocked in this manner. Yeah. But this at least you've got some protection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Consider like what flinch responses you can develop. Because, no matter how trained you are, we've said it many times, you get punched in the face enough, you go back to a white belt. But what you have are your flinch responses. So develop a few more flinch responses. Like, everyone can do this, right? How can you make this a more productive flinch? Or like, even if you go like this, like how could you make this a more productive type of flinch?
What you really want to do is train yourself to get comfortable with angling off, right? You don't want to stay in one spot.
Exactly.
If you get hit, you don't want to stay in the same area.
Yeah.
So pivot off, angle off, protect the important stuff. Yeah. Right? And always make sure that you're still facing the person that's attacking. Yeah. Right? Because you don't ever want to turn your head away from somebody and get clocked.
Yeah, exactly.
Last thing you want to do is sort of like, shell up and turn around and then just get, destroyed.
And one last thing is, remember, don't give yourself, if you get into a street encounter, don't be like, oh, he threw it, now I'm going to give myself permission to do it. The moment it's like life or death, you throw everything at him. I've seen so many cases where like, he punches you, okay, you're punching, you forget that you can kick, right? Or you forget that you can clinch until they do it, or sometimes... So the battery, unfortunately, died. We finished it, and then we realized a little bit of what we said at the end didn't get recorded.
Then we upgraded.
Now we have slow motion. Low shutter speed.
Tracers.
Exactly, tracers. What we were saying is, basically, you have to, if someone already uses force against you, you can't match the force. You have to up the force, escalate the force. Basically, they give you 8, you maybe give them 16 or something like that.
I guess, yeah. I would say, first of all, avoid all street fights as much as you possibly can. Yeah. Secondly, you cannot sort of play the game of I'm only going to go as hard as they go, in the sense that I'm going to let them dictate where this ends up. Yeah. Because in a street fight, you just have no idea what's going to happen. Yeah. You have no idea. So best thing is to communicate verbally and be like, hey, look, like I would rather not fight, and this is the line, please don't cross, because I'm going to take that as an act of aggression. And then I'm going to have to hit first because I'm not going to wait for you to hit me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And then the other thing we were talking about was that you were saying how you were like, hey, like, don't come past this or whatever it is. Yeah. I wouldn't extend my hand out like that because I don't want to get hit in the chin. Yeah. But this is acceptable. Yeah. in
HR.
In HR and for business work related environment.
Yeah.
You can do this. It's okay. Can't do this. Can't do this.
Can't do that.
Can't do this.
Yeah, exactly.
This is okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. I guess you could do this too. You know, this is like acceptable, but it's not like a back off. I guess you could go like that. You could put one hand here. You could say back off.
Is it in a work environment?
In a work environment.
In a work environment.
Maybe,
yeah.
so it's like better than this, right? Because at least here, both your hands are up.
And then we were saying, we were
summarizing what we were.
The strikes.
The strikes, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the first thing he taught was kind of grab this and hit, which is a cool trapping. But what I learned from Rob is instead of just drag down or maybe just drag forward, you drag across. If you drag it across, see, you have the striking, he doesn't.
It's hard for me. I don't have the range of motion.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I can hit, but it's not going to be as nearly as much torque as I would like it to be.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing that he needs to be cognizant of is if I am prepared to do a spinning elbow.
Yeah.
Highly unlikely that you're going to come across something like that on the street.
Yeah.
But be aware of it.
The first time I ever did a spinning elbow, I kind of did it just through instinct. The guy, I don't think he trapped me, but I think I overextended a punch or something. And just by instinct, I was like, hey, I could spin it.
Spinning back
and then
fist.
the two of them, these two black kids, were like, oh my god, Jerry's kung fu. I'm like, I don't think that was my kung fu. It was just instinct.
Instinctual.
So some people could, by instinct, do that, right? I was one of those. It was not my kung fu.
Deep inside your DNA.
I guess so. The spinning stuff, man. Now, I probably have equilibrium problems now, so I probably can't do it. But back in the day, you never know.
If you want to set up a really great spinning elbow, you can look at a couple of people. One, you can look at, I think, Mike Chandler, and I think you can look at obviously John Jones. What he'll do is he'll fake the single leg, and so he'll tap. He'll pretend like he's going for a single leg takedown, and he'll tap the knee, which causes them to try and defend. They'll go like that, and they'll bring their hand down, and they'll go down, and then bam, they're ready right for the spinning elbow.
See.
So in order to set up your spinning elbow, always sort of change levels. Pretend like you're going to go for the single leg, and then make them change levels so that you can deliver the strike.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Prime example of this is John Jones versus Stephen Bonner. Stephen Bonner. Yeah.
Cool. So that was the first move. The second move was, so we're here, and then I take this, I go across, I drag them across, and I think compared to maybe how it's shown in the original video, we're really going to drag it across.
Hammer strike.
And so, hammer strike. And I have in the past kind of learned it this way too. But what I find, just my experience sparring, a lot of times if you try too hard to do these trapping things, they're reacting too, right? The moment you tap, they're gonna respond.
Right.
So it's not as easy as it looks to even like try to drag it over like that.
Right.
That's something to keep in mind. But we've seen it done, of course, in the UFC, like Rob said. So we have different examples of that. And then the third example we have is, so in the video is more demonstrated like, let's say he's covering up, so you push it, so that's like a trap, and then you go in. But I think what Rob really taught me was instead of pushing it in, because he has a lot of strength here, right, you kind of more drag it down. This opens it up to then do the elbow. So just some things to think about.
The farther your arms are away from your body, the less strength you have. So if I have my arms here and he's trying to force my arms here, I'm pretty strong here. I'm really strong here. This, not so much. This, definitely not much at all. So anytime you can collapse their arms in on themselves, anytime you can wrap an arm, now I'm not even concerned about this hand.
Exactly.
Because this is now trapping this.
Yeah.
And I'm free to strike or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if I can try and create the leverage, it's all about physics. It's all about me making sure I'm blocking off your ability to strike.
And just think about the gym, right? Like most bicep exercises, it comes in somehow, right? It comes in somehow. So you don't want them to be at where their muscle's the most explosive, which is here. So if you're pushing them in, they have a lot to counter you with.
And the last thing we were talking about was having a contingency plan for what happens if you get cold clocked, if you get caught off guard.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the last thing you want to be doing is trying to think about what should you be doing now to defend yourself. You should have like a go-to. And what I was trying to tell you was you never want to turn away from your opponent. If you get hit, even though it's counterintuitive, you need to turn towards them.
Yeah.
You need to pivot off and get off the line of attack, but you still need to face them.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about good defenses. I mean, I think people's sort of natural inclination is to turtle up, is to sort of, protect like this, which is understandable. This sort of this allows your visibility to maintain.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're protecting your chin.
Yeah. Rob called it the Yoel Romero.
Yeah. Your temple is open.
Yeah.
But you can do
the pensador stuff.
Right. Yeah. So you really want to try and train yourself against the natural instinct, which is to shy away and to turn your head away from your opponent.
Yeah. Think about what other kind of reflexes you have. Like most people have something like this. How can you not go like this? Well, maybe like develop into slowly, and then maybe slowly just by reflex you go like this.
Yeah.
Like how can you take your natural flinch responses, I call them, and just make them slightly more honed. So when you're down to your last breath or when you're surprised, you can get into a prepared kind of thing.
And just as a way of sort of gauging the danger, you should understand that like Jerry is most dangerous in this range, where I am at the very edge of his striking range. I don't want that. But if I can get on the inside, if Jerry hits me and I can get inside, I get closer to him, right? Yeah. Then all of a sudden I'm not so concerned about him generating as much power as it would to put me down. Yeah,
exactly.
Right? So if I know the perimeter, I know that within here, if I'm on the inside here, I'm less likely to get rocked. And if I'm outside of his circumference, then I'm not concerned at all. Yeah. But at the same time, it's all about distance management. Understanding like where the safe zone is and where I need to be really concerned.
A lesson I'm learning from that is your stepping has to be fluid. You really have to be able to, so that way you don't get trapped off guard, you don't stumble or step on your own foot or something. You really have to step, practice your steps every day. Like Rob said, practice your pivoting and stuff like that. Yeah,
recovering in your angles and all that. The angling off is so important because it allows you to maintain visual on your opponent while at the same time getting off of their attacking center line.
Exactly. So for those of you who are watching and saw the random change in camera angle and the random change in lighting and everything, thank you, man.
The improvement.
Yeah, the improvement, exactly. This is Fight Commentary Breakdowns. To the viewer that sent us this, thank you. To everyone that wants us to look at more clips like this, let us know.
Yes.
We got much more. Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering what this was, this is to like prevent like when you're cutting vegetables and stuff, or when you're doing stuff with the box cutter, just to prevent your hand from getting cut. So that's why I was wearing this, in case you're wondering.
It's a slice-free glove.
Yeah, slice-free glove. So.
Also, it's a throwback to Michael Jackson.
That's right. That's right. The way you make me feel.
All right, y'all. Keep training.
Thank you, guys.